I do not think it is right for me to start this without you knowing who I am. I am not a father. I am not a husband. I do not belong to anyone. So please, if you're claiming me out there, know that that is a lie. I'd always wanted to go into radio, and the next best thing, especially during that time for me, was podcasting. So Calligraph Jones, if at all kuna siku moja utasikiza episode there, get me on a feature. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are, my beautiful, beautiful people, and welcome to this episode of Ramblings of a King, where we get to talk about anything and everything. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is off the table. You are listening and watching God's greatest gift to mankind, the one, the only King. Now, this is a get to know me video, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. So before we do anything else, I'd like you to do 4 things for me, yeah? Now, like the video, comment on the video, share the video, and subscribe. And on top of that, do not forget to click that notification bell so that you can get updates when new episodes are uploaded. And like I said, this is a get to know me video. I do not think it is right for me to start this without you knowing who I am. So we're going to get into who I am, what all of this is about, and hopefully along the way we will have a very, very good time. So without further ado, let us kick things off. Now, let me start with who I am. My name is Arnold Bruno Akach King, obviously from the name of the podcast. I am a son. I am not a father. I am not a husband. I do not belong to anyone. So please, if you're claiming me out there, know that that is a lie. I am a criminologist by profession. That is what I studied at Egerton University. But what I am doing now, I am a marketing consultant. I'm a digital marketing specialist. I am a voiceover artist, and I am an all-round great guy. So that is who I am. Now, as to what this podcast is about. Now, as you know, the podcast is called Ramblings of a King, and this is a social commentary podcast. Something which I think is important for you to understand is that we live in a social world, We live in a social world where things happen, and every interaction we have, is basically us socializing. And these things, the things that come about from us living in this social world, so things to do with business, relationships, all of this is what I want to cover in this podcast. I believe it is important for us to sit down and talk about certain things, about particular things. So be it entrepreneurship, relationships, business, politics, all of this, even sports, all of this are things that this podcast will cover. We'll try to find interesting ways to spin things off, and we will have a merry old good time along the way. Now, podcasting became a thing for me around the time when we went into lockdown. When COVID-19 hit, I think most people were shocked. And following it came the lockdown, and people literally had nothing to do. And I remember that time, a certain friend of mine, Collins Musumba, he also has a YouTube channel, you should check it out, The Collins, he called me and we started going back and forth about things we could do during this time. Now, by that time, when the lockdown hit, as I was looking for things to do, I remember I read a quote that said that it would be dumb if you came out of that period not having learned something new. Now, for me, the very first thing I did was to learn how to read music, because music is one of the passions I had. One of the passions I have. Na hiyo si kitu yenye ningetaka kukosa kujua. Plus, most of the friends I had at that time walikuwa wanajua kusoma music. And to be honest, ilikuwa aibu hang out with them, not knowing how to read music. So I did that, and Collins called me, we had that conversation. And now it was about what next. And for me, I had always wanted to go into radio, and the next best thing, especially during that time for me, was podcasting. Now, we linked up with him. his wife, and one other guy started an operation. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, it is not alive today, but that was when podcasting really started for me. Yeah, because we started doing something on YouTube with the name Top Media. Yeah, but after that, when I branched out on my own, I went to another friend of mine. Yeah, I have what when you're connected in Kenya, so talk to me nicely. Yeah, so I had another friend of mine who was starting a label that had to do with music, Chapellery Music. His name is Boss Franklin. He also has music out there, so again, check him out. And he recorded my very first episode, and I cannot tell you how happy I was with that. Yeah. And for me, that was how podcasting started. And when I had already recorded 70 something episodes, I was like, okay, I might be good at this, and let me take this to the next step. And as you see, this is the next step. Podcasting allows me to be able to express myself. Now, for people who know me well, know that I am not the most social person. Yeah, I find it hard interacting with people. And for me, kama unanijua as a social person, as an extrovert, believe me, I was lying. I was faking it. Yeah. And I'm very good at that. So podcasting allows me to express myself. Yeah. That was the one time or the one avenue I had, yeah, kuenda huko nje and to speak my mind about particular things without being interrupted. Now, granted, that allowed me to get out of my shell. Yeah. And it has allowed me to get into spaces that initially I never thought I would ever get into. It has allowed me to do things I never thought I would be able to do. It has allowed me to get into job interviews, like radio interviews that I never really thought I would ever get into, and all because of podcasting. Now, as to what my inspiration is, I think everything will be tied back into radio. Now, for me to answer that question adequately, acha niwapeleke nyuma kidogo. Yeah? When we were young, now, first of all, let me say this, and if you will hate, I will have words with you later, but I am the last of three boys. Yeah? I'm the last of three boys. And growing up, we were fortunate enough to have a television set as we were growing up. But because, boys will always be boys and parents want to avoid that mischief, angetoka kama amefungia TV, and the only thing we used to be left with was the radio. Now, the radio station enye nasema when I was really young was KBC Radio, yeah, the English service. And I remember I used to hear this news presenter on radio, Pamela Omodo. And with my brothers, we used to make fun. It's a Luo thing, yeah? We used to make fun that Pamela Omodo and Omodo Njugo. I do not know why I used to say that, but it used to be a thing. So it was from that moment, I was like, who is this and how can I get into this? Yeah? But unajua, growing up, you get confused along the way, or you get other interests along the way. And for me, that interest had to do with the law. I went to do criminology. But after campus, I was like, I need to do something with this. Yeah. So that is my biggest inspiration for podcasting, along with major people who are in the media spaces, people like Maina, people like Caroline Mutuku, people like Karadul, Shafiweru, Adelonyango. All of these people really played a huge role into me getting into things to do with media, not just podcasting, but being in the media space. And being able to revolutionize things as they have, being able to become standout figures in this industry as they have, that is something I also want to do in my own right. So that is my inspiration for podcasting. Obviously, I need to do my own research into what I want to speak about. I do not think there is anything as dumb as going into a particular topic without knowing what you're going to talk about. At least getting the fundamental or the basic knowledge of what you're going to speak about. So for me, that would be preparing, but the actual answer is music. The very first thing I do before the camera ianze record, or before anything starts recording, is to listen to music. And for me, that is Calligraph Jones and the particular song, which, to be honest, I will never get tired of, Niji Like That. Yeah, that music is top notch. Yeah. So Calligraph Jones, if at all kuna siku moja utasikiza episode there, get me on a feature. I remember when I was coming into Tangent, I was having a conversation with one of the directors, Sam, and he asked me a very deep question. Yeah, why podcasting, or what is my end goal for it? He asked me the very same question that I'm going to answer. And for me, podcasting or being in this space is my end goal. But the bigger picture is to create something larger than me. Yeah, something like Rumblings of a King will only be a piece in the big machine. Yeah, it will only be a stepping stone, and I know how that sounds, but yes, it will only be a stepping stone. For me, I want to create something bigger. Yeah, something that will help others do podcast episodes, will help others get into radio, will even create something or radio related, a bigger company, a bigger industry, a bigger brand than just Ramblings of a King. So me being able to get my fingerprint into something that covers all of that covers TV, radio, voiceovers, all of that is my end goal for podcasting. And I know this is the very first step towards what I'm aiming for. So that is my end goal for podcasting. So that was it for this Get to Know Me episode. I hope you have had a great time. And before you forget, in case you did not do it as we started the episode, do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the very next episode, have a great time. Yeah.